Hi, my name is Niall Brennan. I'm training for the 2018 Denver Rock and Roll Half Marathon. I'm also a level 1 certified Roadrunners Club of America coach. This is a weekly blog I'm doing, or a weekly vlog, sorry, I'm doing that follows my training, but really I'm doing it kind of more specific to just a general training program for a half marathon. So hopefully it can be a useful tool or a guide to anybody that's also training for a half marathon. And if you find this useful and you wanted to be generous, I'm linking my fundraising page at the bottom of this video. No pressure to fundraise, but I just thought it'd be an interesting way to see if I could get at least one donation. Not many views so far. I should probably join some social media outlet to push these out. But anyways, yeah, like I said, this is my 5th week. So definitely really getting into the middle of training. Last week I talked more specifically about a speed workout. I'm doing that this week. I'm just going to review some of the tempos or the race pace workouts. And so I'm also following the Hanson Half Marathon method, and so it's a huge part of their training program. But I also think it's very important just to get time at your race pace. You know, your body gets used to running at that pace. You don't have to look at your watch as much, especially if you're running in a bigger city race and there's not a lot of buildings. It might be hard for the signal to get captured. So if you're looking at your watch as like a guideline to see your pace, it may not work. That happened to me in the Chicago Marathon. I went out way too fast. I was almost like, I knew my watch wasn't working, and then I was like, I'll go a little faster just to make sure I hit my splits, which probably wasn't the best idea in hindsight, but sometimes adrenaline takes over and you don't think straight. Anyway, so yeah, so if you can internalize it and almost like be pretty close to your splits without having to look at your watch, that's a great benefit. Also, you know, especially if you're going to be taking in calories and drinking and stuff, it's really good to train your gut to be able to take calories in, perhaps not for a half marathon, or depending how long you'll be out there for, but definitely if you're training for longer races like a marathon. Potentially not trail races, because a lot of people just sit down at zones, at the feed zones there and take in food, but like I said, it's good to train your gut, and also like your body just becomes efficient at running that pace. If you're constantly running it, your body, you know, it's like a great tool. It can just become more efficient at kind of running at that pace, and just everything is good. So yeah, so for the half marathon, started at 3-mile tempo runs, and every 3 weeks I'm increasing by a mile till 2 weeks before, when I'll probably go down to 5, or it depends on how I feel. And so with these, you know, you just want to hit even splits. You want to go out and you just want to get into that zone, and you just want to grind. You know, if you're running, especially when they get longer like this, you know, if you're doing a 5 or 6 or 7 mile, especially if you're doing a marathon, you get up to 10 miles. It's kind of hard to just stay focused and stay consistent at that pace. So it's pretty good kind of a mental workout for when, you know, you're running a race, and after you start and the excitement goes down and you really get into the meat of the race, you need to be able to stay motivated and be able to just hold that pace consistently. And if you've done a lot of training for it, that you know, that helps. So again, I would suggest every week trying to spend time at race pace. If you can do what they say in the Hanson program, like again, I'm starting at 3 miles, and every week I'm building that. Every 3 weeks I'm increasing it by a mile. I think it'll really pay dividends to you in the race. And in terms of executing it, it's really not that hard. I would suggest warming up for like 1 to 2 miles. You do a little more if you want to run more on mileage. And also maybe throw in some strides. I like to, you know, in the second half of my warm-up, if I'm doing 2 miles, I'll throw in a couple of strides, which are short bursts, about 10 to 15 seconds, at potentially anywhere from probably 5K to 1 mile race pace. And they're kind of like sprints, and they just get your body warmed up and get your muscles activated. Then I also like to do drills, mainly because I think drills are really good for working on your form. You know, if you're running and you're thinking about running in some different form, I feel like that can kind of mess up, you just mess up your stride, and you just feel awkward. It's better just to run how it feels natural. But if you do drills, maybe I'll put a link to the video on drills or a kind of website, because I'm in my office here at home and I'm not going to get up and do drills. But or maybe I'll make a video about drills. But anyways, if you do that, it just gets your body, creates the neuromuscular pathways for your body for doing the kind of correct motion of running. So I do high kicks, or I do butt kicks, I do single leg jumps, I do I don't know the names of them, but anyways, there's a series of drills, and again, if you want to work on your form, I would do them rather than focusing on it too much while you're running. And then that's it. Then I just reset my watch and I go and I just try to keep my splits even, or potentially run the first mile a little slower, like you would in a race, because you start off a little slower, but then just focus, stay consistent after that. I kind of have a bit of a problem where I'll always try to push a little harder. It's probably not the best trait, but I always feel like in the last mile or two, I just like to kick it up a little bit, not a ton, normally like 3 or 4 seconds faster than I should be doing. But you want to try to stay consistent, and then at the end, just cool down. And again, as you get longer, they get harder, for sure, and they'll feel hard because when you train for a longer race, your body will be tired from training. So I definitely know when I hit 7 miles, and I have 3 of them, they'll be pretty difficult. I'll probably think I won't be able to run a half marathon at that pace, but take a time to when you take time to taper, your body will automatically recover. And I'll definitely talk about the taper. It's pretty hard to do actually, because you just want to run a ton. You feel like you're losing your fitness, but I think, again, I'll talk about taper when I get there. But when you do taper, you'll be surprised when you start that race. You'll feel pretty fresh. Your pace will feel a little easier. I run with a heart rate monitor a lot of the times, just because I like to see, mainly my main reason I look at it is to see if my heart, over the training cycle, if my heart rate's coming down at given paces, which it has been for these tempos. So that's like a good guide as well, if you want to gauge your fitness. But anyway, so that's the tempo run. That's why I think it's important. If anybody watches this and have any questions, feel free to leave me a message. There's not many people watching this, so if you write a comment, I'd probably be super excited and write back to you. But if you do watch this and you're the one and you're not my wife or my mother, thank you for following along. Anyways, stick with your training. Just get out there, get into miles. Just grind through it. It's not easy, but it'll be worth it. When you finish each training session and when the whole cycle is done and you're doing the race. But until next week, take it easy. Bye.